What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Summer Career Mode. This is episode number 30, and we're starting today's episode off on the back of the, let's just call it what it is, humiliating loss to Aston Villa in the FA Cup last 32. Man, oh man, won it last year, Cinderella story. It's the reason why we're in the Europa League this season. I wanted to go far, I didn't think I could retain it. I didn't think I'd win it back-to-back with his Crystal Palace side, but I was planning to hopefully at least get to the quarters. Out in the last 32, yeah, pretty disappointing, no doubt about that. Our trophy has now been gone for sure. It will be someone else's this season. And one path to the Europa League has also gone as well. Still, for the first game of today's episode, on the back of the embarrassing loss to Gerrard's side, Manchester City at Selhurst Park, returning to matters in the Premier League. And right now, we just got to put that behind us, because at the moment, we're chasing a top 4 place and the potential of Champions League football next season. So, heading into this game here against Pep Guardiola's side, we beat them away from home at the Etihad Stadium. We beat them last year in the FA Cup final. We beat them last year here at Selhurst Park as well. We've got a great record against Manchester City since the save began. We've faced them 4 times, and we've beaten them 3 of those times, including in a cup final. So here at Selhurst Park, I felt confident of bouncing back on a loss to Villa and getting another win against Guardiola's side. And 5 minutes after the restart, in a pretty decent first half from myself, we got the opening goal through you-know-who, Odsonne Edouard. Yet won the assist title last season. He's one of the top assist makers this year as well, and that is his 12th goal in 21. We rejected a bid from Juventus in the, I think it was the last episode for Edouard, and I said, you know, the reason being is very simple. I need him. I need Odsonne leading my line, man. He's my top scorer. He's my go-to guy this season. He's been my most consistent player. I need Edouard if we're to have any chance of breaking up the Champions League sides and getting into the top 4 for next season's Champions League. Can't do it without Odsonne Edouard. So I've told him, if we're in the Champions League next season, then, you know, I'm glad to still have you leading my line. If we don't make it, I'll let you go in the summer. That's my promise to Odsonne Edouard. If we're not in the Champions League next season, I'll let you go. He scored our first, Ize bagged our second, and we had a chance to make it 3-0 soon afterwards. Max Aaron's rolling through Odsonne. Had it not been for Edison, it would have been 3-0 Crystal Palace. So absolutely running rampant here on Manchester City, and it's not a real surprise either, because my record against Man City is just so good. You know, we faced them 4 times, we've won 3 of those times, and with 15 minutes to go, as their defence parts like the Red Sea, Cheick Doucouré back in the team, runs through 1-on-1, drills it past Edison and makes it 3. Final score at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 3, Manchester City 0. Pep Guardiola's boys, well, they're all over the place right now. Mid-table in the Premier League. And last season, they had a poor season. Finished in 7th place. Didn't qualify for any European competition because we won the FA Cup against them. So they were trophyless last year. They're not in a European competition this year. And this season, it's looking likely it might well end up being the same case for Pep Guardiola. He's on borrowed time right now at the Etihad Stadium. His side are in mid-table, they're struggling mightily, and in the 5 games we've faced them, we've won 4 of them. I know how to beat Man City, no doubt about it, with Crystal Palace. I've got them figured out. So, yeah, following the big win there, 3-0, bouncing back. You would have seen this. I decided to make a new signing on deadline day, and it was a third-choice goalkeeper. I mentioned when we sold Remy Matthews to Coventry, I was going to buy a third-choice goalkeeper because of the realism. You know, very, very few teams in professional football will have just 2 goalkeepers in their squad, and if they do, they'll have an academy goalkeeper they can use. We haven't got an academy goalkeeper, so because of that, I thought I'd sign a third choice goalkeeper for the realism. So we sold Ray Matthews to Coventry, and then we signed Harry Lewis. Not Road to Shore, but this is the footballer Harry Lewis, released from Southampton, 25 years old, 64 rated, so only 3 ratings lower than Remy Matthews, 3 years younger, and on a free transfer as well. That means we just raised about £700,000 there and got a new, younger third choice goalkeeper who won't play. He's just here in the reserves for the realism. So for financial reasons, that's the reason I did that there. So yeah, Lewis in, and there you go. Still following that, we had a couple of bids here. One for Tarek Mitchell, one from Mark Guehi from Napoli, obviously turned it down. One for Hero Riedewald from Coventry, liking the ambition from Coventry there. So I'm a third choice goalkeeper. Now they want my backup holding mid. Turned that one down though. And also a big bid from PSG for Max Aaron's. Now, I mentioned before, like, we're in January right now. This is the January window. This is now January transfer deadline day. it would be highly unlikely for these sort of bids to come in from these foreign-based clubs for our current players, knowing where we are right now. It's highly unrealistic, so that's the reason I turned them down. If it was the summer, I would negotiate with PSG for the sale of Max Aarons, because there's no doubt about it. You know, Max has come on leaps and bounds since we signed him from Norwich at the start of the series, no doubt about that. But it's January transfer deadline day. There's like 5 hours on the clock. It's a little bit unrealistic for PSG to come in for my English right back who's only been here a year and a half. So, yeah, I didn't think it was a realistic time for Max Aarons to go. If it was the summer, I would have negotiated, like we do with Inter Milan, for example. But the timing didn't really make sense. Same with Mark Guehi as well, getting bids from Napoli and Wolfsburg. If it was the summer, I might possibly consider negotiating. I can't see him going abroad just yet in his career, but even so, I would have considered it. But on deadline day, with like 6 hours to go, yeah, pretty unrealistic, I would say. But even so, we keep the core together, we keep the squad together, and with 14 games to go on the back of our big win against Manchester City, man, it's tight. It's really tight. 4 points separate 4th to 8th, I think it is right now. It's really, really tight in the race for a Champions League spot. 14 games to go. We're there. We're in there for now in 4th place, but it's really, really tight. And that's why, you know, whilst we've been in and around the top 4 for practically the entire season, I haven't been sitting there saying, oh yeah, we could be dark horses for the title. No, are you kidding me? If we can just sneak into 4th, I would take that as a dream season. We'd be performing above expectations. Don't get me wrong, we're a 4.5-star team now. You look at the rating of my team as well, and you would have seen my team too, that the bench has gotten stronger, we've got a little bit more quality and depth, and we've got some great starters in this team now in terms of overall. Dean Henderson, our new big money signing. Brian Mbuemo's replaced Elise pretty much perfectly. You know, Guehi's now out to 83. Max Aarons is 83. Edouard's one of the top scorers in the league. You know, we've got a fantastic side, but we are still outsiders to finish in a Champions League spot, and we are still performing above expectations. So Spurs, following game, massive game here against Conte's side. Both teams desperate to be back in, well, for us to be in the Champions League for next season. We were trailing by 1 after Koke, on his debut for Spurs, gave them the lead, and with 5 minutes to go in a game where I played absolutely terribly. Well, I often talk about it. Against the AI, you got to take your chances, because they'll only get, they might only need 1 to get a goal. And if the shoe's on the other foot and you've only got 1, you got to take it as well. Exactly what we did. Jeffrey Schlupp, unlikely hero, 4 minutes to go, gave him a nod, started ahead of Tyreek Mitchell and popped up with the leveller with 5 minutes on the clock. You look at the stats here, I had a 0.2 XG. This is one of my worst games of the season. As I always say, I present the highlights package very fairly. And you know me, like normally I can create quite a lot of good chances during games. You see it during the highlights. Normally I get a couple of one-on-ones and some decent, what you call half chances, if you will. In that game, that was the only chance I had. I took 3 shots, 2 of them came from range, and 1 came from that tight angle there with my left back, Jeffrey Schlupp. I was awful. Spurs shut me down, but we got 1 chance, we took it, and that's why we got a point there. So big result against Conte's side away from home. Couldn't afford a loss in that one, with both teams desperate for Champions League football next season. And for our 3rd and final game, Watford, the Hornets, taking on Rob Edwards' side here, back in the Premier League at Selhurst Park. 6 minutes into the game, when I said against Spurs I couldn't create any chances, this is one of my favourite goals this season. Yeah, 6 minutes in we had the opening goal. Wilfried Zaha connected with a lovely, absolutely lovely back heel from Dwight McNeil as we get ourselves in front courtesy of Super Wilf. Yeah, 1-0 Crystal Palace. He's not been like as good as last season for me, Zaha. I'll be honest. Obviously, last season he had a big injury. This season also had time on the sidelines and in the treatment room as well. But 4 goals in 18. It's not been a great season for Zaha this year. Edouard's been my star up top, and Mbuemo's done really good too since coming in for Elise. Again, the injury hasn't helped him this season, but he is still one of my top players. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, obviously I gave him a big contract extension in the summer as well. He'll be staying here till retirement most likely now. So, yeah, Zaha opening the scoring, making it 1-0. He could have gone 2-0 up as well. Great save by the Cycling GK. Still there, the veteran. Come on, the boys. Keeping it at 1-0 as Watford were prevented from going 2 goals down. And they capitalised on that as well. Great save by the veteran Foster. And then they scored on the other end to make it 1-1. back on level terms as the Hornets get a big equalising goal here, trying to keep themselves in the Premier League for the following season after the past few years being a bit of a yo-yo team. But 42 minutes into the game here as Foster beats Mbuemo to the ball. He throws it long, but straight to Edouard, and from 40 yards. Oh, you love to see it. It's not a halfway line goal. I'm not going to claim it. But it's the second time it's happened this season. Do you remember against Brighton? Robert Sanchez did this. Threw it at Eze. And Eze banged one in from about 25 yards. This is Edouard's chip from about 40. Absolutely amazing accuracy. But, as I've said it before, and I'll say it again, chip shots are just so OP. If the goalkeeper's slightly off the line, all you got to do is get the trajectory right. That's all you got to do. Because at the end of the day, the accuracy is ordinarily so OP. Like literally 9 times out of 10, it will fall between the posts. All you've got to do is get the trajectory right. Up and over the goalkeeper, but underneath the crossbar. You do that, you score 9 times out of 10. So yeah, it looked cool, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly not a halfway line goal. It looks as though I'm going to finish FIFA 22 without one, even though that was my mission this year in terms of gameplay. Just haven't been able to do it. That's the closest I will come. A 37-yard goal from Odson Edouard there, looping over Foster, but can't really claim too much of that. It's poor goalkeeping more than anything, and he overpowered us with the chip shots. Regardless, it turned out to be the winner, and because of that, as you can see, we stay in the top 4, 3 points behind the Red Devils. We won't catch Arsenal 13 points clear with 12 games to go, 2 clear of Wolves and Spurs, and currently 4 clear of Liverpool in 7th. Champions League is still a definite possibility. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic Summer Career, guys. Big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed. If you have, like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Summer Career featuring the Europa League round of 16 draw and both legs as well very soon.